want to begin by thanking the chairman of our EPW committee. We worked tremendously well together. You gave a great speech right there outlining not only the difficulties that we've had reaching consensus, but really how the building blocks of what we are embarking on today really came from the bipartisanship that we have shown in EPW with our surface transportation and our water bills. I think, you know, by having those building blocks in place has led us to where we are today. And I do remember that first meeting with President Biden in the White House. It's not every day you get to go to the White House and sit in the Oval Office and talk to the President of the United States and Vice President. But we started out with basically saying that we can do this, we want to do this, bipartisanship can work, particularly on areas that we've traditionally worked together on, but also on areas that are of critical need to our country. And we never really sort of lost our focus on that, and neither did the President. And so here we are today, really meeting that challenge that he sort of laid down before us over the 6 months ago. And with the building blocks that us and Commerce and others have put into place, we find ourselves with the great hard work of the bipartisan group at a great place of a point at which we can discuss these, amend these, look at these on the Senate floor as we should be doing. So months of negotiating, the time is finally here. A lot of people and pundits said we'd never get here. As a matter of fact, I had an interview on national TV about 3 or 4 months ago when I was leading the effort for the Republicans, and the commentator said, well, I'll believe bipartisanship on infrastructure when pigs fly. So watch out. They are flying. So we are debating the historic bipartisan infrastructure bill. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is the product of countless hours, as the chairman said, late nights, and more than a couple tough conversations. And I want to include not just our staffs, but a lot of staffs throughout the Senate, whether it's Finance Committee, a Probes Committee, Commerce Committee, Banking Committee, EPW Committee, Energy Committee, all encompassing, a lot of our staff have been working through the weekends, sleeplessly, to try to get us to the day. We've debated the definition of infrastructure, and we actually talked about that in the White House the day we went to see the president, and what that scope should look like, and the price tag, and that very important how to pay for it. I think that nobody probably of the 100 of us thinks this bill is absolutely perfect. It never would be. And there's always a saying going around, if we all thought it was perfect, there's something wrong with it. So delivering for the American people is more important than our newspaper headlines today. We can make an historic investment in our nation's infrastructure with this bill. It reflects our commitment to keeping Americans safe, as the chairman mentioned, improving our global competitiveness, and growing our economy, and creating jobs. This legislation gives states both the certainty in funding to plan for big projects, but also that flexibility in spending to cater to unique needs. What you need in Georgia, Mr. President, is different than what you need in Delaware, or my other colleague from Montana would differ from what we need in West Virginia. This bill is a product that the American people can be proud of, and one that will benefit them and the next generation. This is not a one and done. The impacts of this bill will go on through a generation. So after we had the meeting with the president, the bipartisan meeting, the president put out his American Jobs Act. And he actually challenged my party, the Republican Party, to come up with a reaction to his American Jobs Plan. And I took up that challenge, along with the ranking members of the relevant committees. So that would be Senators Wicker, Toomey, Barrasso, Crapo, and Senator Blunt. And we went back to the White House, and I was talking to Senator Carper the entire time through this process to make sure that our surface transportation bill, which we were in the midst of negotiating, was going to be the building block on which we could formulate a bipartisan agreement. And our drinking water and wastewater bill had already passed out of this entire body 89-2. So we decided, and the president was very much in the conversation and the will to get this done. So our Drinking Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Act had already passed, as I said, unanimously. We passed it on the floor 89-2, and we were making steady progress on our surface transportation reauthorization bill. At this point, the talks between the president and me and our working group as Republicans began to falter, and the bipartisan group picked up with the president. I'm really glad and proud of their efforts that they were able to come to an agreement that is before us today.